What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Forging Alpha podcast. We're back with another Pumpcast.
Another Pumpcast.
And we figured we'd just jump into it, start working out, and
see where it takes us.
Exactly right. So what are we starting with here?
We're starting with some juicy tricep pushdowns.
Some juicy tricep pushdowns. I like it. Before we started, we were sipping on some Gorilla Mind stem-free pre-workout to get the pump going.
Mm-hmm.
Big fan of the Gorilla Mind pre-workouts.
I know you are. We need to get a sponsorship. And the energy drinks.
Kind of just all the stuff is good.
You got the protein in there?
All of it, man.
Yeah.
We'll hop in, dude.
We'll just get to it. Well, Ricky, we're just going to spitball off of nutrition, fitness, supplement stuff. How's your fitness stuff been going recently? Are you
fitness stuff has been going pretty good. I have been mainly business focused as of late without some clear fitness goals.
Okay.
So I'm getting that dialed in since we're getting into the nicer weather here. Basically, all I'm going to do is actually track my nutrients a little bit, dial the diet back in, and then structure the workouts.
You just free balling right now, or do you have any structure with your workouts?
I have structure with the workouts. So I'm training push-pull legs right now. I'm about 2 weeks in.
Okay.
I finally got back into the RP hypertrophy app to build out my workout program. I'm
very nice.
Excited about that.
Yeah.
But nutrition, I've been kind of just winging it a little bit.
Yep. What do you find, even when you were doing more training with clients, the biggest issues that people run into when it comes to diet, especially before they start tracking, or maybe even when you aren't tracking and then you go back to it, what in your mind do you think you're doing well, and then when you start tracking, you're like, oh, I'm way off, or you've seen that people are way off on?
I would say getting enough protein.
Yeah.
And I know that we talk about that quite a bit, but it's super important. And even though I've been doing this forever, if I'm not really diligent on getting my protein in, that's definitely something that falls off for me the quickest, because you don't accidentally get 200, 225 grams of protein. Like, that takes some effort and, in my opinion, a little bit of planning. And that's one of the things that helps the most for myself and when I was training clients was if you just plan ahead a little bit. So all right, well, if I'm getting 225 grams of protein throughout the day, then I should probably get close to 100 of that before 1, 2 o'clock, just so that you're not trying to get all of it in the evening. So that means maybe we do a protein shake first thing in the morning or post-workout, or as a little bit of a morning snack, or getting some of those protein-dense meals in there as a snack. But just staying ahead of it earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Same with hydration. Like, if you're trying to make it up at the end of the day, that's going to be tough. But if
then you just end up pissing all night and getting woke up. Something, and I asked this too because one thing I'm finding, especially with male clients, like middle-aged guys, is people are starting to be better about protein, especially guys that like eating a lot of animal-based meat and protein. They're doing that. One thing I'm noticing is that, like, people start focusing on that, and then they start getting too much protein and, like, not enough, like, carbs or fats. Like, it'll be like I've had some people start getting 250 to 300 grams of protein in, but like zero fiber, zero carbs. They're obviously getting some fats from plant protein, but like, people get so fixated on just the protein, and then people don't realize like how important like carbs are.
So what do people run into? Guys that you see just focusing on protein, what are some of the issues they're going to run into with that?
So for one, and here's the issue with any time you go off of if you go on a really strict diet where you're trying to cut out a lot of carbs and you're not planning on doing that forever, or just as a consequence, you're just eating way more protein and way less carbs, you're fine initially. Like, if you do that for a couple months, you're fine. But then after doing that for 6 months or a couple of years, you lose the ability to use carbs. Like, it's a use it or lose it situation. So then insulin sensitivity goes down. And I see a lot of people with like insulin sensitivity, even in shape people, and like their body just doesn't deal well with carbs because we spent the last couple of decades too being afraid of sugar, afraid of carbs. And so if you go completely away from that, you're telling your body that we're not going to use that system anymore. And so then eventually, whether that's like the holidays, you start eating some more carbs, or you just want to add more carbs back into your diet, your body's not going to deal with those very well. And on top of that, like, recovery's not very good, especially if you're trying to lift or do CrossFit or something, a sport or an activity that uses carbs for that. Like, you're probably not going to be recovering or feeling too hot when that's what you're relying on. And it's hard to be hydrated. Honestly, that's the biggest thing, is like carbohydrate. Like, carbs pull water into the muscles. So like, if you actually want to be hydrated, you probably need to have some carbs in your diet. So those are the main things, is like insulin resistance. Because I mean, most people are just not going to be keto forever. Like, most people want to eat some carbohydrates, right? And when you start trying to do that again, if you can't do it, then you're just going to go back to what you thought was working. And then it's just a hamster wheel of low carb. You feel like crap. Then you binge. And that whole Ferris wheel just keeps on going.
The whole yo-yo diet.
The old yo-yo diet. And the thing I always bring it back to, I had a client that he's got way too many people trying to talk to him right now. But he was saying that he had a guy in the fitness space that was telling him, you just need to go keto. And he's going to do a bodybuilding show in September. But they're like, you had to lose the fat, like, just cut out all the carbs and do that. My response to him was, what professional level bodybuilder do you know that does zero carbs? not any that I know. And then from a health perspective, Asians eat 60% carbohydrates for their diet, and they seem to be pretty healthy. I mean, think about how much
seem to be pretty healthy.
Rice at every single meal.
Yeah.
They, I think, are about the healthiest population in the world. So it's really not just about cutting out carbs, and like that's the magic solution. So yeah, I think, and if you want to do that forever, you can make it work. You can be keto or carnivore, but there's always going to be things that suffer. But for 99% of the people, they aren't that crazy. And it doesn't have to be eating cups of rice every single day, but just, especially like fiber-dense carbs for most people. Like,
what would your go-tos be for fiber-dense carbs? I do like me some rice, though.
Rice is good. Fiber-dense carbs, fruit for one. Fruit and potatoes tend to be the biggest things.
Little fruit and potatoes.
Fruit and potatoes. You're going to get some small amounts of carbs from, your broccoli and some of your vegetables, but your fruit and your potatoes end up being the biggest things, and I tend to like having those in people's programs, because the other thing that I find most people miss out on, probably today even more than protein, is fiber.
Really?
Yeah. Like, would you say you're probably getting 30 to 40 grams of fiber per day?
No, probably no shot.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like, it kind of goes hand in hand with the carb thing. Overhead? Tricep?
Let's do a bicep first.
Bicep? You want to switch it up?
Let's do those hammer curls.
All right.
I'll flip our angle here.
But yeah, dude, fiber, especially if you're not a 3-hour-a-day workout person, a lot more of your carbs should probably be coming from like fruit and potatoes, and then putting like the rice and stuff around workout time periods and stuff.
If you could only do one curl for the rest of your life, what would it be? One bicep curl.
Ooh. One curl for the rest of my life.
The rest of your lifting days, man.
I'm going to say just a barbell.
Really?
Barbell bicep curl. It's going to be, preacher curls.
Oh, interesting.
Preacher curls.
How come?
Stable. You can load them up. And are we talking like one movement, or could I do like single arm and double arm? Or just one of those variations?
Just one. Just one.
I'm saying easy bar preacher curls. Stable, I feel like I get a lot out of them. So that would be number one. Number two is probably going to be standing barbell bicep curls. Number three would be incline dumbbell. Those are my three. How about you?
Number one, definitely going with just a alternating single arm dumbbell curl.
Really?
I feel like that's what gives me the best pump. That's going to be number one. If I couldn't do that, I'm probably going to go with a single arm dumbbell preacher curl. Also love those, big fan. And number three, I'd probably go a barbell curl. Just a standard barbell curl. You're tripping over my mess over here, dude.
Sorry, dude.
I need to get some wall storage put in here to clean up some attachments, man.
Think so?
I do. Have you ever seen?
You got a lot of them.
I know.
You got a lot of them.
Have you seen the wall control units?
No.
It's basically just a metal pegboard. Those work awesome.
Do they?
Yes, they absolutely do.
So I go back and forth on if it would be single arm for me,
Wow.
or if it would be double arm. Double arm just because it saves time, but I do really enjoy single arm preacher curls.
Brother, if there's one thing I have time for,
It's curls.
it's curls.
That's funny. I like that.
And I feel like each one just kind of deserves its own attention.
Yeah,
So that's why I like single arm.
there you go. Yeah, buddy. Did you have pre-workout or did you just do an energy drink?
I had some of the stem free.
Oh, you got it in the blood already.
Already in the blood, man. Gotta
Already
get
in
the
there.
veins flowing.
I like it. I like it.
Home gym tip. If you can find a set of even cheaper fixed dumbbells like these, way better than going with adjustable dumbbells in my opinion. Adjustable is still great if you don't have the space. But if you're ever going to work out with somebody or do drop sets, I really like having just regular dumbbells. Otherwise, you're changing the weights and doing all kinds of stuff.
That's unnecessary.
Completely unnecessary, man. And they just look cool. Because then it looks a little more like a gym, you know?
I do. One meal that you would have to eat for the rest of your life.
Steak and rice.
Steak and rice.
Steak and rice. Sign me up, man.
I like that.
But could we add some eggs in with it? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, I like that.
Some steak, eggs, rice.
Stir-fried rice
Yeah,
with
some
steak.
sweet potato mixed in. Just like a little scrambled bowl.
So, one of my favorite recipes, you ever had the Stan Efferding Monster Mash?
I haven't.
So, Instant Pot or Crock Pot, I like it because it takes about 3 to 5 minutes to make. But ground beef, you can do steak in it. Rice, you use chicken stock. If you want to put some veggies, like I'll usually use spinach and just peppers. And then you can add extra potatoes on top of that. So potatoes and rice, steak or beef, spinach, peppers. And I feel like the chicken stock helps with digestion because it's essentially bone broth. So I feel like I just digest it super well. That might be number one, with cheesecake on the side.
With the whole side of
It's kind of a
cheesecake.
catch-22. Where it's like, you know, is your number one workout meal, or is that like death row meal? Because that's a different story.
That's true.
I'm probably not eating steak and rice for my last meal ever.
Yeah, if I had to eat the same thing every day though, Monster Mash should be a good bet.
Yeah, you might have to give that a go.
That sounds right up my alley. Have you played around with the vertical diet at all?
Yeah. Most of what my stuff is personally, and honestly, like a lot of what I do for clients is somewhat based on that. At least like the low FODMAP choices and just that approach of building out kind of the horizontal and then the vertical axis, where the horizontal is your micronutrient dense foods, like you build the base of that. And my go-to foods for that are typically like blueberries are in most people's diets. I like carrots in some capacity in there. Fruit, eggs, and that's kind of building out like the vitamin and mineral portion. And then the vertical axis, it depends on, again, are you high-level athlete? General population, we're gonna drive up those calories either with like potatoes, sweet potatoes as a main source, or rice, and then using either chicken or beef for how the calories and easy digestion needs to go. And then when it comes to like getting in more calories, we're gonna either use, like his big thing is orange juice. For people that don't need a ton of calories, we're probably gonna go oranges. So we'll do oranges if you're dieting, we'll do orange juice if you're bulking. Big fan of his kind of orange Julius recipe where you mix the Greek yogurt with orange juice in there.
That sounds good.
It's a pretty, like I like doing it for breakfast before the gym.
Because you're getting carbs and protein?
Yeah, and it takes 2 seconds.
What type of yogurt are you using for that?
It really depends. I swap it up all the time. A lot of times it's the Oikos 000 that I'm throwing in there, so you get 15 grams of protein. If you do 2 of those, it's 30 grams. Yes, sir. All right. Back to triceps.
Back to triceps, man.
Back to triggity triceps. Yeah.
Do you want to do, were you thinking overhead cable?
I was thinking like, instead of going like here,
Yeah.
yeah, we could go overhead right there.
Let's give it a shot.
Do you like that version?
I haven't really done a lot of overhead cable stuff ever, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. So let's do it.
Why is that?
I don't know.
What you like?
No particular reason. Probably just tried it a couple times, never felt great.
Yeah,
A bunch of other good tricep movements that worked great for me, so
that's true.
those, and then
do you ever do anything like overhead? You know, that's all the hype right now.
not often.
Well, seems like it's,
Maybe that's what I'm missing out on, dude.
seems to be working for you.
You know who has some gnarly triceps?
Who?
Justin Williams.
The Jayhawk?
Yep. Justin's a good dude. I remember we came into Westport for the first time. It's like, damn, that guy has some actual horseshoes on
the back of his arms, yeah.
The bros can't be neglecting the triceps, man. That's 2/3 of your arm.
Yep.
Did you go on the ends or these?
I went on the ends.
Okay.
Yep.
I had a really good question. Okay. I need to go to the store later.
Okay.
And I'm thinking I should actually give the vertical diet a shot just because I'm gonna meal prep something, right? So give me kind of just a basis of like what would a typical day look like for you if you were doing vertical diet, or kind of what's your diet look like now?
Yeah. Do you want to do ground beef or you want to do steak?
Let's do steak this time.
Steak, cool. So I'd get probably a top sirloin. For that, I would do a side protein. In a best case scenario, I'd say some type of fish. Are you a big fish guy?
I do like fish.
Yeah, some salmon then. So maybe do steak and salmon this week. I'd get maybe then a convenient option. So like some deli meat, like some deli chicken. Like a good thing, like in case you need to just grab some protein on the go that's not meal prepped. And that stuff lasts forever. So you can have some, even if it's a weekend and you just need to make some sandwich, having some like chicken. So then maybe you're doing steak, you got some salmon for a couple times a week, and then you got maybe some like deli meat to just grab and go for that. So there's your protein sources. I grabbed some yogurt. Costco right now, Chobani just came out with their own 20-gram protein.
20.
And I like it way better than the Oikos flavors. They've got a raspberry lemon one.
Ooh, I saw that on your story this morning.
Good, dude. It's really good. So then I get that for your dairy.
Okay.
I get some oranges or some orange juice. Get some vitamin C in. I get some type of berries. I tend to go with those, like the frozen triple berry pack from Costco.
So with those frozen berries, what are you doing with them? Are you putting them in a shake or are you thawing them out?
I'm putting them in smoothies, but I'll also take them out, throw them in the microwave for 30 seconds, and then I put that on the yogurt. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it is pretty good. Then your rice, I tend to go with those Bibigo rice bowls, the 90-second ones that you can just pop in there. You got a good rice cooker, so maybe you don't need to get rice. I get either regular potatoes or sweet potatoes.
So is there really a difference there? Do the people need to be thinking about regular or sweet, or is it kind of personal preference?
Honest, for most people, no.
Okay.
No. There's going to be a little bit of a difference with the vitamins and minerals in terms of like more vitamin A within sweet potatoes, but regular potatoes get written off unfairly. They're pretty much the same amount of calories, they got the same amount of fiber, and they both have twice as much potassium as bananas do.
Oh, wow. So
yeah.
Either way, you're doing pretty good.
Either way, you're doing pretty good.
Okay.
So
I do feel like the regular potatoes get a bad rap.
yes. And for people that are dieting, especially, like they look at me sideways when we put that in there, but you know, we've talked about this on the index of foods that keep you the most full. Potatoes are top 3. So you're not going to eat 3 baked potatoes and not be full. It's a lot easier to eat an entire bag of chips. You're not eating 3 potatoes, probably just baked.
That would be a lot of potatoes.
So we got our carbs with potatoes and rice and some fruit. You know, if you want to throw some bananas in there, some other easier fruit sources. Like, are you a big fruit guy?
I do like fruit. What about apples? Are those on there or not
fiber,
as much?
Yeah,
Okay.
fiber. I do apples. Costco's got some really good Honey Crisps right now. So a couple sources of fresh fruits. In terms of vegetables, I think spinach is a good way to go, either fresh or frozen. And that's usually something I'm either mixing in my shakes or I'm putting in my eggs in the morning.
So you're just like cooking it into the eggs?
I'm cooking into something to get it in. So there you got some fiber, you got some more potassium, and then eggs, obviously. Now that Costco's, they actually have eggs again.
The crisis is over.
The crisis is at least slowing down. So eggs, some chicken stock. So if you wanted to do the monster mash, which you can mix your rice in there, your potatoes, your chicken stock, and you can also put your spinach just into the monster mash. And then you're covering all those.
That sounds like that'd be something that'd be really easy to meal prep.
It really
With
is.
the
And what
chicken.
I do, like if I'm working from home, I'll do a big thing of it, and that'll be like 2 or 3 meals for me in a day. And like when I need, I just go literally dish it up and put it in there. And then other things I could think of would be sourdough bread. Good pre-workout. What I've been doing recently for pre-workout is a couple pieces of sourdough toast with like apricot jelly on it. Yeah.
I do like some sourdough.
Yeah.
What type of sourdough do you get?
I get whatever. I get the one at Costco. I think there's one brand, but I mean, typically if you're getting like the 3-ingredient sourdough, it's probably pretty good. Sourdough is great for your gut health. Like they ferment it. I'm not going to go through the whole process, but it's going to help with gut health. It's going to be better digested than a lot of other bread sources. So, and it makes pretty good sandwiches.
And it tastes good.
And it tastes good.
That was a nice solo Caleb breathing moment for the listeners.
Without the talking.
Normally you got to get on Patreon for that, but we just let you have a glimpse for free. So what are some of the benefits of following a diet like that? Like compared to other things, what's the draw towards it? Is it just easier? Is the gut health better?
I think the thing is that it hits the middle ground of all those things. Like, you've done it. What did you find?
So I've never really specifically followed that. Like, obviously I've done a lot of beef and rice, but
Yeah. So, and I think that's where, compared to a traditional bodybuilding diet, you're just getting more vitamin and minerals from your foods. And not just that, but you're getting them from foods that sit really well with most people, since most people have pretty messed up guts. So, like, sourdough is going to be something you could eat 4 or 5 slices of in a day if you're trying to add some more calories in. It's going to sit pretty well compared to you try to do that with like 100% whole grain bread or something like that. You know, all the fruit and vegetable sources are low FODMAP. That essentially just means low gas. So you're not going to be walking around shitting yourself all day because you had beans for 4 of those meals, which there's nothing wrong with beans. And if somebody's on maybe a lower calorie diet, like, let's put some more of those fiber dense things. That's where I tend to go off the track. If like I don't follow it like a religion, because like I'll put more oats in there than maybe is recommended. So another thing like I like doing, another easy carb source is like those mush overnight oats. So I got some of those from Costco, and I'll do some regular oats in general in the mornings, mainly just for hitting that fiber goal. Because I find that the other thing with a vertical diet is it can be a little bit harder getting your fiber goal in. So I'll add some extra oats, fruits, or vegetables that might not be listed in there just to help with that. And he advocates for that too. Like in his newer books of the vertical diet, he started putting in more salads and stuff that you can do that are still like vertical diet approved for people that don't need to be eating 4,000 calories. Taking your shirt off?
so he's keeping the options open for the people. Yeah, that was poor timing. I was taking my mic off to take my shirt off.
All right, you got any more on this? Or you done?
I think I'm ready for some pull-ups, dude.
Pull-ups, all right. Over here?
Let's go right over there.
I want to use that bar.
Oh, do you? We can do that.
We can do that. No, if this is a better angle, I'm all about just getting the content in.
It's really all about the videos.
That's what we're here for.
Hey, we can go back and forth if we need to, though.
What, superset?
Yeah, we're going to superset pull-ups over here with chin-ups over there. What do you think?
I like it. I kind of like this angle for chin-ups.
I haven't tried it yet. Here.
I don't know about you, but like, how are your
around.
shoulders? Like, do chin-ups feel good on your shoulders?
So I haven't done chin-ups in probably like 6 months until just the other day.
Okay.
I forgot how much I love them.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, biceps too.
Yeah.
Love me some chin-ups. Do chin-ups hurt your shoulders?
No, they're not bad. I'd say probably more my wrists. Like, not hurt, but like, I don't put myself in as much of that position as often. I don't do as much mobility as I need to. So like this though, kind of hits that position where you don't need as much.
So you're like saying on a straight.
I'm saying a straight bar. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What are you talking about?
So yeah, I was using chin-ups on this bar over here. So I've been a little bit of a camber for a while.
Got it.
I haven't
so
done
it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't
Same
done a
thing.
straight bar pull-up in.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like
chin-up
if
in
you
a
were
minute.
holding it like right here.
Let's find out. That's just a little narrow.
Go out wider then. Go out wider on the.
That's true. Ooh. I'm gonna hit my head if I try to do that.
You think? You've been doing a lot of pull-ups last few months?
A few.
What do you mean by feel? Like they've been in the rotation, or you just been randomly mixing them in?
On my back day, I'll normally do 3 or 4 sets of pull-ups.
Okay.
One of the two. I would say they've been a staple of my back workouts pretty much forever. When I was real heavy, my heaviest I was like 245-ish, maybe just a little under. I didn't do as many pull-ups. We start getting heavier, and those pull-ups start getting harder, man.
Up for the lat pull down a little bit more?
Yes, sir. A little bit more of a lat pull-down guide, but Man, when I was younger, we had a chin-up bar that was right coming through the kitchen. You had to come through the kitchen on the way up to the stairs to go to my bedroom.
Okay.
So we'd have the pull-up bar there, and I'd like bang out 10 chin-ups or something like that. Because when I was in, gosh, it would have been like 6th grade, we had our first PE test. Like we had these like state standards.
Okay.
They got to hit. And
Which they've since gone away with, right?
I believe so, which is
Yeah.
unfortunate, but they used to have it. And one of the things was pull-ups, so you'd hit like a certain number, and I could do like maybe 1 on the first pull-up test. So I was like, I don't know if I was embarrassed by that, and that's what triggered me to be like, yeah, I'm doing some damn pull-ups, or I just wanted to progress in that. But
Yeah.
that was like one of the first strength things that was real measurable that I could like see myself getting better at. And I think in 8th grade, it was maybe like 30, 34 chin-ups, which was like quite a few, not all the way down, of course, it was like 3/4. But the confidence that I got from seeing that progress.
And it was 34 in one shot.
Yeah.
Pretty damn
The
good.
confidence that I got in that, the progress of that is probably one of the things that kept me in the gym to begin with.
Yeah.
So, all that to be said, big chin-up guy.
Big chin-up guy. Yeah.
Just built this rack. She's got a little rattle to it.
Is that a good thing?
I don't know if it is, man.
It's going to come collapsing down on us?
I think it's just not having any weight on there. It does have some weight storage. If we threw that on, I'd probably anchor down a little bit, you know?
I do.
Yeah, man, I think body weight movements are a little underrated sometimes, especially if you're just getting into the gym.
100%. I mean, the best shape that I was ever in was when, like, I was busting out weighted pull-ups with a plate, 2
Yep.
plates for sets of 10.
Yep.
Yep. One thing I'm going back to a little more, like putting in more weighted push-ups, more weighted dips, more weighted pull-ups.
So how are you doing your weighted push-ups?
So if I'm at home,
Logistically.
weighted vest. If I'm at flex, I get the chains and I'll strap
Yep.
2 to 4 chains across.
There you go.
Yeah,
I've never really done weighted push-ups before.
I like them a lot.
Other than like your buddy will like set a plate on your back, but then
Yeah.
it's like, that's great if you have somebody to put the plate on your back. Not super great option if you're lifting solo.
No, but I like them, especially for just being able to push and go towards failure, because you're just then gonna just fall on your face.
You'll
Yeah.
be all right. It's not like you're benching and you're gonna drop it on yourself.
Yeah. So started implementing that more on like my off days, or the days where like I took my weighted vest. One thing I'm trying to do, and I think that this is great for most people that have a hard time with their habits or getting things in motion, is making your environment conducive to like fitness. So I was telling Ricky before this, like I just bought a pull-up rack and a dip rack that's gonna go out on my back porch. So when I go outside, I'm gonna go over, I'm gonna bust out 10 pull-ups.
Hell yeah.
I can go out and do some dips. So like putting things around me, like I'll take a kettlebell and I'll put a kettlebell in my office. So if I'm sitting at my desk all day and I see that kettlebell there, I'll get up and I'll do some kettlebell swings. Like for some of my clients that sit at desk jobs, I'll be like, all right, set an alarm on your phone. Every couple of hours, you got to get up and do 10 air squats, especially for people that don't get enough steps in,
Oh, yeah.
or people that are driving. It's like, if you can do something, and also have some type of reminder. For me, it's like equipment that I'm going to trip over, so that I've got to bust out a little bit of that. Or for some people, set alarms. But the more you can make your environment like conducive to it, like for you, making your entire gym or entire garage a gym is probably a lot better than you just having a bunch of junk and one of these racks shoved into the corner. Like you're actually probably going to come out here and do what you need to do, just because you made your environment conducive to that.
Yeah, environment's a big deal. And the other thing, not only are you doing better from a fitness aspect if you have that kettlebell sitting beside your desk and you're taking some breaks to either go on walks when it's nice out or do a couple easy movements, you're also probably making yourself more productive at work because you have a little bit of a break and you're not just sitting there staring at a computer, you know?
Yeah.
You get your mind revigorated a little bit and get your blood flowing. You're thinking more clearly. You're not just focused on work, you know, take your mind off it a little bit. Then you're going to come back with more energy. And then who knows, maybe you don't need to guzzle down that second energy drink of the day, you know?
Yep. I think that for me, like the more that I start doing that, putting my supplements out where I can see them, having reminders about things, I just do it when it's almost hard not to.
That was wide. I think my lats are about done though, dude.
I agree. All right. Chest flies,
Yeah.
dumbbells.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, we're going to channel our inner Arnold, do some incline dumbbell flies. We were talking before this, it's been a minute.
Oh, we're doing incline. I like it.
Well, we can do flat too. I haven't done flat in.
What do you prefer doing?
I haven't done.
Dealer's choice.
Let's do 2 and 2.
Okay. 2 and 2.
2 and 2.
I'm gonna start. Oof. Nice and light, and I'm gonna try to focus on more range of motion. I feel like that's the thing with flies, especially
100%.
like I've done these with 80s before, but like I'm not getting a full stretch. I think there's a time and place to go heavy with every movement, but like you look back on like when Arnold was doing these, he was like down at the floor with these, trying to get that big of a stretch. Not saying that's gonna turn me into Arnold, but maybe there's something there.
He might have been onto something. Yeah, man, I used to do a bunch of incline dumbbell flies, and I haven't had them structured into a workout program in over 5 years, at least.
Well, you know, the whole the stretch mediated hypertrophy, that's all the rage right now.
It
right?
is.
You got to get the biggest stretch on everything. Which actually, I think chest is one of those things that pretty much everybody's in agreement that you're going to put on more muscle from that stretch, length, and position that we get right here compared to just like trying to squeeze it at the top.
I mean, that probably makes sense.
Yeah. So I think pretty confidently, like they found that all your lower body movements, and then especially like your chest, is going to benefit from.
So why do other muscles not benefit from it?
So I'm not going to act like I'm going to be able to fully explain that,
Yeah.
but I think different leverages
Okay.
play a part in that, like with your lats. Like once you get to the point of like all the way fully stretched in the lats of there, like your lats lose leverage once they're in that stretch position. So you're not getting too much out of that versus you've got a lot of leverage at the bottom of a chest fly with dumbbells. So I'm not going to speak too much on the things I'm not going to be able to explain in a good way, but what I do know is that there's a few muscles that seem to be benefiting more from that length and position. So, I mean, it makes sense. Like you think about it, RDLs for your hamstrings. You know, I mean, squats, so you're primarily only working the length and position of a squat with your quads because you're in that stretch position at the bottom. You're really not getting too much out of a squat at the top.
Well, I'll tell you what, from anecdotal evidence after my one set so far, I feel like I have some pretty good chest stimulation because that was our first chest movement,
You're already pretty pumped?
and I've got a little bit of a pump going.
Yeah.
Which pump's not everything, but it does give you a pretty good idea of whether or not you're hitting the muscle you're trying to target.
And at the worst case, it's just fun.
I love it.
Yeah, Ricky.
I'm going to put some, I'm starting to prioritize bench press again.
Okay.
Try to get my strength a little bit back up.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll do a competition. Because
Well, you're thinking about it.
Well, I would feel kind of lame doing a bench only competition unless I was going for like a national record or something. And I don't really think it's worth it to try to squat and deadlift heavy again right now.
Why? Because you got a baby that you're gonna have to be carrying around, and that wouldn't be the best thing if your back pooped out on you.
That's certainly a big part of it, man.
Yep.
Trying not to have a fear-based mindset with it, but I feel like I've had lower back issues like 3 separate occasions where it's like popped out of place and stuff like that, or felt like it's popped out of place. And if it was a one-time deal, maybe I'd have a different attitude about it, but the risk versus reward for me on that right now is like not there at all. However, I do like pushing my strength limits to some degree. So if that just happens to be in bench press, then I guess that's just how the cookie crumbles, you know? Because it is fun to have, especially like where I'm not in a hard cut right now. So it's not like I see a big difference week to week in the mirror. So it's fun to have something that has a little bit more subjective or objective numbers on it. Like I can see if I'm getting stronger. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, it is. It is.
What do you want to hit after this?
What do I want to hit after this? I think we only did 1 bicep curl. So I think we're back to probably a supinated, maybe alternating bicep curls.
Let's do it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Beautiful. Curls?
Let's do it.
Curls, baby. Yes, sir. So, Ricky, what's your opinion on the state of the fitness and the health industry? What's anything you're seeing that you like? Is it in a weird place? Is it in a good place?
It seems, and maybe this is selection bias based off of just the people that I follow. It kind of seems like people are taking a little bit more of a holistic, feel better approach and aren't looking as much for the Band-Aid fixes. But that could also be because I'm a little bit out of the industry these days.
Outside of Ozempic?
Outside of Ozempic being the big one. The Ozempic's kind of a sad deal because I've been hearing some stories of people that are having some pretty gnarly problems with it, or at least what they're contributing to it.
You know, I've kind of changed my tune on that.
Yeah? Which way?
A little bit. As in,
What was your
pointing more clients towards it.
Really? How come?
I think where people are getting screwed up is mainly dosages.
Okay.
And time duration, like you're getting put on dosages, trying to lose 30 pounds in a month, and it's leaving you feeling like crap for the next 24 hours. So there is an approach becoming a little more popularized with microdosing, GLP-1s, Ozempics, tirzepatides. And I think that if you need to lose 100 pounds, probably acting as fast as possible, because high blood pressure and those things, diabetes, are something you need to fix pretty quickly. But for those people that maybe need to lose 20, 30 pounds, I do think that it is a tool, and like, you don't want to use the fitness industry as the best example all the time, but that's actually something that more bodybuilders and people in prep are turning towards.
Interesting.
So instead of like using your traditional stimulant-based fat burners now, people are turning more towards like GLP-1s for that. And so, but at the lower dosages, you're not going to lose 30 pounds over time, but you're also not going to get the terrible gut issues. You're not going to get Ozempic face. It's not going to crash your appetite like that. Like, you're going to lose a couple extra pounds in a month, but we're going to do that for a little bit longer. And it definitely helps with like blood sugar, like we were talking about, like insulin resistance, blood sugar regulation, like helping with that, which is a major issue that a lot of people see. So if we can fix that from something and we reduce the side effects, and we're not looking to try to lose 30 pounds in 1 month and we don't get all the muscle loss, this is obviously coming in tune at the same time with we're still lifting, we're getting our protein in. I think that you can probably avoid most of the side effects.
If you do it smart.
If you do it that way, yeah. And I think, like microdosing it versus like once a week in a massive 5 to 10 gram dosage, you're doing like 500 micrograms to 2 grams spread out over a couple times per week. So, and then again, right, you're still focusing on the basics with it. You're not just taking something as a magic pill and hoping that works.
I do feel like a lot of people probably need a good win at the beginning so that they stay hooked, because if you're taking somebody that's totally sedentary, that's had poor life choices or poor health choices for 10, 20 years, something like that, and they change up their habits and they're trying to go to the gym or they're trying to eat a little better, and they're not seeing those results in the first couple of weeks, because obviously they're not going to. That's not how it works. Something like, in that case, that could be the little boost that somebody needs to start to see that progress, to stay hooked to those good habits anyway.
Yep, I agree. And I became less and less of a figured out completely naturally in every situation person. I just don't think that if you're, you can be fine. And if you have got great genetics and maybe great habits, that you can get away with the holistic or the natural approach 100% of the time. But I think that with all the issues that we're dealing with, the environment, how stressed out we all are, that better living through medicine is probably the case for most people at some point in their life, right? Whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, but most people at some point are probably going to see benefits from hormone replacement therapy. Like if you want to be functional when you're 70 and you lived a blue collar, high stress lifestyle where you were beating your body and your joints up, that's where I think that maybe a little bit of growth hormone peptides and some TRT, when you need it, doctor supervised, of course.
Of course.
It's probably going to be beneficial. I think that, some of these therapies with like the NAD plus and like glutathione, as you age, you start losing that. And even with like the Ozempic stuff, like if you spent the last years kind of crapping on your metabolism and you don't have the willpower or the energy right now to get the ball rolling, if that, on top of just getting you wins, if that helps you with the catalyst of just being able to do that, then I think it could be worth it in whatever aspect that is.
Brother, I think I got about one more set of curls left in me.
I think I'm done. Yes, sir.
If anybody's listening to this podcast and would like to be the sponsor of a split unit HVAC system in here. I think we're going to need some AC this summer. I've got pretty good sweat going.
That's not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were about to try to simp for some energy drinks, but
That too. Derek, if you're listening to this, send us something.
but yeah, it's also not warm today, and it's pretty hot in here.
Dude, I was pretty surprised when I walked out and it was like the wind chill was like 28 degrees.
It was that cold this morning?
That's what the weather app said, man. But you got any closing thoughts for the Forging Alpha Pumpcast?
No, man. Go out and crush it. Do some fun shit like this. Set up your life around, like if this is a priority for you. Like you want to get healthy, you want to work out, you want to build up habits. You got to switch up, how your life revolves around those things. Whether it's the people, places. We've preached this a lot, but get around things that are going to make it easier for you to do those things. Go buy a pull-up rack for your deck.
Put it on. So every time you walk by, you hit a set. What are you going to, 10 reps, a set? What's it going to look like?
Yeah, probably. But I'm probably get out and do 10 reps. It's probably something that I'll just progress naturally. Like I'll
just
probably
get
get
somewhat
up
close to failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about bodyweight stuff, especially. You can get damn near to failure. It's not that big of a deal.
No, and you can increase your work capacity over time with that. And get outside. Like I put my yoga mat out there, so I've been doing more of like my mobility. Like I'll go do that on the deck, get some sunshine in. Like I'll jump in my cold plunge and I'll do my mobility. Like completely sets the tone for a day.
100%.
Way better.
Set the tone. Set the tone for the day, and you set the tone for your life, man.
Yes, sir.
I like it. Well, thanks for listening to the Forging Alpha Podcast.
Peace.